I mean, the way I arrange them in my mind. Okay. For the macros, the way the return has been formatted. For those of you who have used it, it has some formulas already embedded in the return. Now, for those formulas to work the way they should, that's why you need to enable the macros in your Excel so that the formulas in that return can work the way they should. And remember, all you need is to enable them once.
So can you put a manual somewhere?
You see, in the return, the first page of the return, there is a readme sheet. It gives you the procedure of how to enable those macros. And the moment you enable them once in your Excel, that's it. You don't have to enable them every time you are working on the return. The other question was on filing the return once. You see, we are implementers of the law. We don't make the law. And as per the laws that we address on the Income Tax Act, the individual is supposed to file the return, income tax return, at the end of the year. 6 months after the end of the year, which in this case for all individuals, accounting period starts from 1st January to 31st December. So it automatically goes without saying, 6 months after the end of the accounting period is on June of the following year. So for this year, June, we are filing the returns for 2014. So we are just implementing the law as it has been prepared. And again, that is for income tax. We have other obligations. You have income tax payee, which is a monthly return, which is filed by the following month, by 9th of the following month. We have VAT, we have withholding. So depending on the obligation that you have, that's what determines when you need to file your returns. Now, for an individual, it has to be June of the following year. This is the sheet. When you download the return, the first sheet is readme sheet, and it gives you the procedure of how to enable the macros, depending on the Excel that you are using. You have the 2010, the format is given because, as you know, they are different. Yes? So you can be able to go through that sheet and you will be able to see how to enable the macros. The other question? Oh, for the call center numbers, we have support center numbers. Remember, we had the call center number that was used for all KRA before we introduced iTax. But as I said, with the introduction of iTax, we have also introduced iTax support centers. For those iTax support centers, we have specific numbers for the call center for the support center that you want to call. We have them, they are here. These are the numbers for the Nairobi support centers. If you visit, maybe like Mombasa support center, they will also have their own numbers. We also have emails. BTD online support at kra.go.ke. Some of the time, you might find delay in replying to your emails. These emails come in their thousands. And like any other organization, we are thinly staffed. And we have to collect 2.1 billion. Trillion, sorry. So we have maybe a few staff, or maybe they are still working on the emails, and the emails are being replied on first come, first served basis. Because the ones who applied earlier, will be replied first. We also have a Facebook account where you can also raise your issues. Facebook account was also open. We also have a Twitter handle, KRA Care. And we'll be able to see all that.
I have a question.
Yes.
I registered a PIN for a company yesterday.
Yes.
And I had a problem. I didn't get the email at the end of the process. And then on the site, when you go to the website, these numbers are not there. So I called the general, and then I was put on. I went through, and then I was put on hold for like 10 minutes, and then I eventually got the person. They didn't know. They didn't know anything. It kept on putting me on hold, and I was put on hold for about 2 minutes while they were asking. So my question is, why aren't these numbers, all of them, including the ones for, how come they're not on the website? Because on your website, even on iTax, if I open it now, it has the other number. I didn't see this one.
I can tell you you see now, as we move on, we are still opening more support centers. And the last time I checked, they had said they want to have all the support center numbers so that they upload everything on iTax, giving you specifications. These are the support center numbers for maybe Kisumu, Eldoret, in that order. But we hope they will be there soon. For the other issue that you are talking about, if you didn't get the notification, you need first to check the email that you provided, because that notification is sent to your email. But still, at the end of the process, you are given an option to print that acknowledgement receipt. Because remember, for a company, you don't get a PIN automatically. What you do is an application. You get an e-receipt, acknowledgement receipt, that you have applied for a PIN, and it's awaiting processing. If you check your email, or if you need to check your email, you will receive an email from KRA telling you these are the documents that you need to present to the KRA office so that they can process your PIN. The reason why we want you to, for that procedure, for that simple procedure, we want you to present the documents so that we can be able to authenticate the certificate, that it's a genuine certificate from the registrar. Currently, we are not yet linked with the registrar of companies. That's why I say, in future, we hope that these interlinkages with other players with other stakeholders will be available, so that the moment you apply for your certificate of registration in Sharia House, that information comes to KRA automatically. Currently, you have to present the document so that we authenticate it. We have cases where somebody, I think, went to Liverpool, they prepared that certificate and they brought to KRA for PIN. So we don't want that situation to recur.
Hold on. I think before we continue with additional questions, I think we would actually let's go through how the system actually works, and then we can begin to actually have a bit more direction as to how this question is supposed to go. So maybe you could take us through a demo of iTax.
So you said, I saw a few others saying you have not filed your returns on iTax. How many have not updated their PINs on iTax? How many? We want one, for example.
Preferably a man, because there is a date of birth somewhere.
If we can get one to use as a demo, and
we promise the information supplied will not be used against you.
It is still the same procedure. You will go through the same procedure on your own.
We have a volunteer. Me, I'm Ghana, so I can't volunteer. I'm compliant. Do we have one non-compliant tenant who would like to update the details?
Okay.
None of you?
We will all have to go through that route because we want all of you to be on board iTax. Anyway, I think we have a pin that we can use since we will use one from our side. So how to access the website? You can go to the KRA website and you see this red banner written iTax. It's very conspicuous. You click on it and you will access the iTax portal. Else, you can just type itax.kra.go.ke and it takes you to the iTax portal.
Alternatively, you can Google it. So that you all typically
Yeah, there's something.
This is the iTax portal, and using the two options that I've just said, it will bring you here. As you can see on my right-hand side, we have the iTax online services. Those are the things I was talking about. The PIN checker is there. The TCC checker is also there. The withholding certificate checker. Recently, we introduced the withholding VAT agents. Mostly are government agencies. And the number they give you, you can also be able to verify from here. We have the status checker is also here. Maybe one thing you might need to do for the tax compliance certificate checker. The tax compliance certificate that were issued manually, you won't be able to find them here. But on our website, we have the option that we were using before iTax. It's still there. The pay checker is there. You can also show the TCC checker from that website. But all iTax tax compliance certificates, pay numbers, you can be able to find them from the portal. Then on your left-hand side, we have two options. We have the first option that is asking, do you have a PIN? Those are for the people who already have a PIN and you need to update your PIN on iTax. You will type in your PIN number there and click continue. Then we have the other category of Kenyans or taxpayers who do not have a PIN yet. You will use the second option. This is for new registration. A PIN for a Kenyan and a non-Kenyan residents will be generated automatically. By the time you finish that process, you will have a PIN with you. But for non-Kenyan residents and companies, non-individuals, it will give you an acknowledgement receipt that will require to be processed by our officers so that you get a PIN. So we will go through the first option of updating the PIN. So you type your PIN number in the box provided. You will realize with some of the browsers, you cannot be able to copy paste. But with Mozilla, you can be able to copy paste. So maybe when you register and you are sent a password, using Mozilla will be the best option to copy paste the password that will be sent to you and input it. So you type in your PIN number there and click continue. For this particular PIN number, it is giving an option to update the PIN. But if you type in your PIN number there and it asks for a password, that should mean that PIN has already been updated on iTax. So for this particular option, you click on that hand and continue. Then depending on that PIN, if that PIN was registered as a non-Kenyan resident, you choose your citizenship there. If you are a resident, for the non-Kenyan resident, you should choose the second option. If you are a non-Kenyan, non-resident, you choose the third option. And as you can see down there, it changes. For the non-Kenyan non-resident, it requires a passport number. This is because a PIN must be linked to a document. In this case, for non-Kenyan non-resident, the PIN number is linked to the passport number. So you type in your passport number there. For non-Kenyan resident, these are foreigners who have come and settled here. They are issued with an alien card. That alien card has a number. That's what we are calling the alien identity number. You type in that number. For the Kenyans, you have been issued with a national ID. That is to mean no Kenyan will apply for a PIN using a passport. So you will choose the Kenyan and type the national ID number. The next thing that asks is the date of birth. And at the date of birth, you will find in some ID cards, they only have the year as the date of birth. For those cases, you will need to choose the default date of birth, which has been provided in the system as 1st July, and then the year that is in your ID. You are good?
Why is that not written right now?
Why is it not?
As a hint.
As a hint.
That the default birth the default date should be this.
Yes.
If missing.
Yes.
Especially for the ladies.
We, as you said, this is a system that is, we are taking feedback, so we hope, yes, that's a good feedback. We can propose that so that they include it there. Then the security stamp, you call it what? Mental stamp.
Yeah.
So you provide the answer to that. That will be what? If you find it hard that you will need the beans to count, you can click on those two arrows and refresh to get a new and easier one. Yeah? Until you get the easiest. Yes. That one is easy. So I
Oh,
Refresh again.
Why did you use minus? Because
no, it's both.
it's minus and addition.
It's both.
That one is easy now.
we are used to plus. So like
That is plus.
That one is
So
You can refresh
mine, I got the minus thing.
You refresh it as a plus. You refresh and then you get to the addition. Then you submit. So I hope those of you who have not updated, we are going step by step. If you encounter a problem, maybe you can raise your hand and Ruto here will see you and he can address that. So when you submit, since you already have details of that particular taxpayer, it tells you welcome, Benedict, Omija, Olo. Yes, and that's your PIN number. Then we have these sheets down here. What you need to do, there is a disclaimer on a note up there that all fields that are marked with a red asterisk are mandatory. So as you go through these tabs, you ensure that a field that is marked with a red asterisk, you have failed something. You are good? So the first thing you need to do is to select your employees. The employees, now you, the taxpayer, your profession. We have a number of them listed down here. But if you don't find yours, especially in this age, we have discovered so many other professions, and it's not listed down there. You choose others, then under other profession you type your unique or specific profession. Initially we didn't have blogging as a profession, but now it's a profession.
Oh, yeah.
That is making good money. Senior, you put it there.
Yeah.
And that money needs to be declared.
We come to that.
So you put your unique or other profession there. Then under the national ID details. This you can't change anything because it's already hidden from our system. This one has been gotten the way it is from the national registration bureau. So we have the individual's data, the father particulars, the mother particulars. You can just go through just to confirm. But that's the way your information appears in the national registrar.
I have a quick question at this point.
Yes.
Every time a new filing session occurs, I have to go in and update, or this update is a one-off?
Updating is a one-off thing.
Okay.
So you see, for your case, maybe you file the return once a year, but there is somebody who will be filing or accessing this portal from time to time, every month maybe. If you have an employee, you need to declare that tax and pay. So you will log in every month, file that return and register payment. Then you go to the other sheet, and here we have your PIN certificate will be issued in the name this. Yes, that's just a confirmation. If you're okay with that, you say yes, because those are the details that will appear in your PIN certificate. In case maybe you have been married and you have changed your name, mostly are the ladies who change their names. Sijasikia akina wanaume amebadilisha. Ama wanafanya siku hizi? Yes? Wanyeji wana. So if you are a lady and you have changed your name and it's not appearing there as it should, as it is appearing in your ID, you can pause there, contact our system so that we first update your details. Because remember, the moment you change your details in your ID with the National Registration Bureau, they are supposed to send out those changes so that we also update our system. If they haven't, now you need to notify us so that we can initiate that change. We don't want a situation where your PIN is reading these names and your ID is reading different names. Maybe every time you want to transact, you must sign, swear, and affidavit. So you say yes, then under the principle of physical address, you can change those. If the ones that are appearing there have been outdated or you have moved, you can give us your current physical address.
Question, again, on the spouse discussion. Is there any particular obligation to register spouse? So I'm married, yes, but do I have to declare that I'm married? For taxation purposes?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So you fill in your details, your principal physical address. For the old pins, they already have a tax location or a tax station. But for the new pins, when you get to this stage, the details that you choose will determine where your tax office will be. So if you are registering a new pin and you give us the details of where you are, maybe Kisumu or Mombasa, that's where your tax station will be, or tax office. So it's good to note, when you are registering a PIN here, if it's a company or if it's an individual, and you know you will be doing transactions with KRA, you can note that. But now on this platform, even if you select a tax station to be Mombasa, but you're operating in Nairobi, you can still be able to transact with your station with KRA that is, but the station that has been assigned you as a taxpayer online. We are good? Then the next one is the principal postal address. You give us your postal address, maybe in case all other communications fail, we can send you a letter. Then the other thing that we need you to give us is your mobile number, which is mandatory, and an email address. That email address is very key because that's where, for like his case, he said he didn't get a notification. If he gave us a wrong email address, we won't be able to get the notification. That's where also your password will be sent. So if you type in a wrong email, your password will be sent to a wrong email, and you won't be able to get that. So you might type the right thing, but maybe you add a number or a figure or a letter that is not supposed to be there. So when you are typing in that email address, we request that you be very careful. But
I have some feedback for you on that particular
yes.
aspect. When I was validating my details, and I came to the email address, and I put in my email address, the system told me, hey, Atom is not in use. So I can't use it anymore.
No, that's another feature that has been introduced. Initially, in ITMS online, guys used to go to the cyber. The cyber guy opens one email for all PINs transactions, so that they will use that one PIN for all the PINs that have been applied. That is holding you hostage. That anytime you want to access the system, you must go to them. Yes? Now we have changed that so that one PIN will only use one email. So for those of you who have companies and you have already used your personal email in your personal PIN, you will need to open an email for your company. I believe that's a plus. Senor?
It's a plus, but for guys like me, I was shocked. Someone has commandeered my email address.
I also had a case just out there. Somebody, you see, some of these people, when they go to the cyber and you tell them, I don't have an email. You see, cyber guys are in business. They want you to charge you maybe 500 to do that simple transaction of registering a PIN. So they will tell you your name is so and so. So let's assume we will put that email there, then open the email later. But when they go to open the email, they realize that email is already has somebody. So, but that should not worry you. If you have such a case, you can see us and we can be able to amend that email. Any information we are keying in here can be amended. So, then we have the alternative address and contact details. If you have any, you can say yes and you give us more information on that. Just say no. Then we select, we move to the next one, bank account details. This is for refund cases. For those, maybe you have a refund with KRA, you can give us your bank details so that when the refund is being processed, you already have the information.
There's a question here about the email.
Yes.
Apparently, if you want to change your email address, you have to go to 15th floor, then for other house.
That's from where?
From the internet.
Internet?
Rather from Twitter. Someone made a comment.
No. That is wrong.
So what's the process?
What is the actual procedure?
The actual procedure is, because you say you didn't receive anything. So you come to us and you say you applied for an email, but I realize it has some error. So you can come to any KRA office. Even right now, we have an office here. They can be able to amend that. But remember, it does not go automatically. We will initiate the change, but it also has to be approved by an officer in your station. Yes? However, I say we also have these other many channels. We have the Twitter handle, we have the Facebook page, but don't take the truth, don't take those answers from other people or other taxpayers as the gospel truth. Take what the KRA officers or what the KRA office has given you to be the truth. And if you visit any KRA office, that can be done. Or when I was showing you the website or the portal, there is a report a problem. You can also be able to do that. Report a problem and it will be worked on. The email we gave you, the calls, the numbers we gave you, all those can be able to assist you.
Now, that question where do you wish to declare your bank account for refunds?
Yes.
Okay, it's a question, but why is it like, that red thing means a must?
Yeah.
So can I
You see, it's a must for you to say no. Yes. You say no, it's mandatory. So you say no and you continue.
I don't have a bank account, but I have a investment.
You say no.
Is it mandatory? Okay, is it mandatory, like especially when you're doing your return?
Is it?
Is it mandatory to write your bank account details when you're doing your return?
When you're doing your return, you will realize the bank account details are gray. They are not enabled. But in a situation where you are in a refund position, the tax down there, after the tax computation, you are a negative. That's to mean you are in a refund position. You must fill in the bank details. Even if you had filled them there, you had filled them here, you will also need to fill them in the return.
And does KRA actually refund?
The business of refund. You see, KRA is in the business of collecting tax, not paying back. But money for refunds is allocated by Treasury. So if Treasury does not allocate enough funds for refunds, the only refunds that will be processed for that year will be the ones who applied earlier in that way. So, but we hope a time will come when we have collected enough to surpass the budget to refund to our taxpayers. Yes? So we continue.
Let me ask you on that line. So when you don't refund, like, does it now written clearly in your system that you owe certain number of people?
Yes. Your ledger will show that this particular year you are in a refund position. And that money
can it be taken for?
That you see now, when they process that refund, that's when they can authorize you to take that money and utilize it in the following year. But the refund process must be completed. We continue?
Yes, please.
The other question is, are you a partner, director, or trustee in any other entity? In case you are and you say yes, all we need is you give us the PIN of that particular entity. You can say no and proceed. The next one, would you like to declare your relationship with any other taxpayer? It's optional. It's either yes
Now, let me ask something. So let's say I'm a director in another entity and I say no, but then you can see in your records clear that I'm a director in another company. So what's the remedy there?
You see now, when you are registering the company, either way, you must declare the director for that company. So even if you did declare it here, when now you are registering that company of yours, it will request that you put the directors of that company. Si munakumbuka mambo ya Langata? Yes? So we need to know the human face behind the names. Sawa sawa? So those are the things that we want to address in this. So you say yes or no, and you click next. That's to mean you have already finished that page, the first page of basic information. Second page is obligation details. These are the obligations that you have as a taxpayer. For this, since it's an individual, he has income tax resident as mandatory. That is a must for all residents to have. If you are a non-resident, the second option. These are the options are optional. So if you are an individual and you are doing business, like our bloggers, sio ni biashara? Yes? Like our web developers. Yes?
It's a income.
It's a hobby.
It's like even
Yes.
Yego.
So for those people who have businesses as individuals, and you wish to register VAT as an application. Remember, VAT is not mandatory for those people whose annual turnover for the whole year is less than less than 5 million. But if your income is more than 5 million, it's mandatory. So for the sake of maybe claiming the credits that you or the input tax that you incurred, you can opt to register VAT. Then there are other professionals that as long as you offer in that profession, you must register for VAT. So VAT is optional. You can select VAT as an obligation. Then you have another obligation there called turnover tax. Turnover tax is a tax under income tax. So if you select turnover tax, you cannot have turnover tax and income tax resident together. So turnover tax applies for those people, for those residents, for all those residents who are doing business and their turnover is between 500,000 and 5. So you need to register as a turnover taxpayer. It's a very simple tax. We hope maybe we can clarify that later, but today let's just.
One question. Why VAT default check? Yeah, we sign up as an individual in this case, right? I've had questions from a few people who, when they sign up, it's all new and it's IT and it's a form, so they just click, right? And accidentally they register VAT as an obligation, and now they're individually obligated to do VAT returns and they're penalized and blah. As you just said, it's only for those. That one should be checked off when it's an individual from the beginning.
Remember,
then you can check it on.
Yes, remember, this is an update. It's not a new registration.
Okay.
So this taxpayer already had a PIN that had VAT as an obligation. So that's why it's checked. Maybe he has his own business he's running. But for those cases, if you find your PIN has a VAT obligation and you didn't select it knowingly, or if it's not supposed to be there, you can visit a KRA office, your station, and they will be able to go about that. Because remember, that obligation bears a revenue implication. Yes? So before it's removed, they have to check your data first. They have to verify a number of things before they remove that. If maybe you opened a business and you traded for 2 years, then you closed, and you never notified KRA, yes, they will need to check the liabilities that are in that obligation first before it's removed.
So the question is, an individual can be a employer, right? Let's say I hire a house help, gardener, driver, million people. Then I have to do pay for them and submit the using my personal PIN.
Yes. That's why I say those obligations are optional.
And again, I guess in terms of feedback, and this goes back to the original thing we were discussing before. These options aren't necessarily intuitive. I don't necessarily know which ones I should be checking and which ones I should not. If you have some kind of either a guide, a toolkit, or a hover tip, or something that says, as at the point that I'm about to, make a selection, it sort of just pops up and tells me, select this if you are XYZ. That would definitely reduce instances where people, because I've come in and if I've never done this before, my instinct might be to teach everything. And then, so you guys get something that doesn't make sense to you.
Yes, that's good feedback. And as I say, KRA has so many programs. So we actually have a program that does taxpayer recruitment and services. They're all over the country teaching people about taxes. What tax applies to you, what tax you need to have at this particular point, in that particular order. But he's saying that's good feedback and be there so that we don't have those issues.
Whereby someone used the signal to apply for fee, but unfortunately they were added for VAT instead of income tax. So 2 or 3 years, they have a fine of 270,000 VAT. In such a situation, is that an excusable scenario for KRA?
As I say, you can apply for waiver, and your case will be looked at specifically, not as a general thing. So I can't stand here and tell you, if you find yourself in a VAT obligation, you will automatically be given a waiver. But when you find yourself in that situation, all you need to do is apply for a waiver for your case, and then it will be looked at on its own, because there are people who got that VAT obligation, but they never bothered to file returns, they never bothered to do anything, and they were running a business. So after, yes.
Just a comment. I was in the same boat, and it doesn't 265,000.
How much?
265,000. And then, so I wondered how I would like to do a letter. You must know the line not responded. So I went directly with the letter to the office. So my luck was I have a media activity. I'm accredited by the media. So I took them the NCK card and showed them that I'm a journalist. And that's the only way they cleared me without much. But see, if you don't have something else to do, you don't have a company, I would imagine it would have taken a long process for them to do the exemption. Just my thoughts. Yeah.
At least you got the exemption. The waiver. Yes.
Yeah.
So at least you have had they do waive those penalties. That's all. So when you're done with this page, this is the obligation page. You click next to go to the sources of income. And the sources of income, we have 3 types of sources of income. One is employment income, business income, and rental income. So you choose the one that is applicable to you. For those of you who are employed, you select the employment income as yes, and you provide the PIN of your employer. Then for those of you who have business income, you say yes, and all we need is details of the business name that you have registered with Sheria House. So these are the information that you need to give. The business registration certificate number, business commencement date, all that. You can be able to key all that from your certificate. One thing is the business commencement dates should not be the same as the income tax date, not necessarily. If your business was registered today, and that's when you are registering, you just put today's dates. Then under rental income, the same case applies. If you say yes, you provide the details of rental income. You can also select no for all of them. If you don't have if you are not currently earning any income. Then the next option, you go next, and the next one is agent details. For now, this page has been relaxed, but we envisioned a situation where maybe even an individual could have a tax agent who does their tax returns. Those tax agents, eventually they will be registered with KRA, so that if they file your return and they file fictitious information, they can be held accountable. So if you don't have any for this page, click next. And the last page is the remarks. All you need is to give some remarks. It's not mandatory, you can leave it open and submit. Yes? It just submits. At this stage of submission, it gives you an option of confirming the email that you provide. Yes, and I said, and I will say it again, that email is very important. So you will be able to confirm it at this point. And then when you have successfully submitted, it gives you a message that you have successfully updated your PIN on iTax. Then it gives you an option of downloading a PIN certificate. But the same has been sent to your email or the email that you provided, and a password has also been sent. So I wish you give me 5 minutes so that I take you through the profile. Any questions up to them?
Suggestions.
Suggestions, yes. I hope you are taking down the suggestions.
This thing about being able to check like the tax compliance certificates for both businesses and individuals, you should open it up. You know, the same way the Ombudsman has done for business to start behind the children who don't participate in a tender, and no, you actually expired this last month, and then getting the new one is going to take ages. If you can have a system where actually, literally, whoever wants to verify can do it, and they can even take the cost. So you can even say, let us pay that cost, but it can say where it needs to be sent to, or give a code that you can then say this code is valid, that you can then check. Whoever wants to check that you have the details, because otherwise just use a lot of data and time.
All the services KRA gives, they are not chargeable, they are free. Yes?
We're willing to pay for convenience.
You want to pay?
Yes, for convenience.
How many want to pay?
Okay, how much do you want to pay for convenience? How much?
It can be 50 shillings. If you're not willing, then I can build the system. I can build the system and then see which other Kenyans will need to pay.
But you see, for the confirmation of that tax compliance, assuming you are a tendering board and a certificate has been given to you, yes, all you need to do is to go in the portal, or you log in as in your own profile and check for the validity of that tax compliance certificate. If that certificate has already been expired, it will let you know that that's an invalid certificate. If maybe it's not issued in KRA, because this is Kenya and we know some of these documents are made in River. If it's not issued by KRA, it won't show.
So let me ask the question the other way. So the business has submitted that the returns, everything is good, but I need to actively go and request for tax compliance certificates. The alternate is if the business has already done that. It is because people usually know that the company registration of it. You should be able to check automatically. It should tell you, yeah, these guys are legit, or Memaliza, as opposed to saying that now the business have submitted, but then again I have to go back and get tax compliance. Yes, it needs to be automatic. Once I'm done with the process, I can literally give you my company business number, and when it's by uses, it just tells you, "Sir, he's finished. They're finished. They don't need to come back and request for it." Because again, there are very many people there saying he has a issue, he has a family.
Okay. That is good feedback. But now in this era we are in the transition era. Some records are in the manual system, some are in the item. Possibly now that can be done. Because it's either will only rely on the returns in the item system, yet you might have defaulted in the older system. Again, second thing, compliance is a daily thing. We can't use the past to really give you a quick way to a compliance certificate. It means a lot to us. It's the only document which, once you are given, it's saying you have complied up to that date. So, if we gave you one last year, just before you apply for a new one, you could even have been audited and assessment has been raised on your account. How will you?
Hence why the suggestion for now that I'll be compliant until last month, as opposed to now when you're giving valid until August 2016, and be compliant to that check.
Let's say with the PIN check, you just type in the PIN, and so this is the business name, and they are not valid, or they are compliant, or they are not compliant. Why have this separate document instead of just saying, because this system already knows that everything is up to date. It could say straight away, everything, all the obligations that we have, this company has this been registered for, have been filed, so now, then next month it may not be.
I want to query the security of the system because you're registering, you use the PIN and the
ID number.
No, I'm talking about the company. Use the PIN if it exists. Use the PIN and the registration number. Now there are very many people in this our Nairobi that have my PIN and have my registration certificate. Let's start with the bank. All the companies that are, they're like 40 different organizations, and there are people who work in these organizations, so they know my theme, so they can just come here and change everything in this system, because there's no, how do I put it? As in, there's no sort of like second tier security, as in that these people will not use my information. I doubt, as far as that's concerned, I doubt that security.
You see, that your concern only applies maybe during registration, yes? Because once you register and you already have the password sent to your unique email, nobody else can be able to access that.
No, it's before, because at that particular point in time, someone can change the email address that is there.
Yes.
Yes, that is my concern.
Okay, maybe on that, I don't really, is that a KRA problem? That people have your PIN and let's just figure it out.
Yeah.
Because are we the one who
the site is yours.
No, not about our site. Were we involved in you giving the information to that?
No. The information is out there.
Legally, it's your fault.
Yeah. The information is out there. So it should be.
It's mandatory that?
No, it's mandatory that when you're looking for business from another company, they will tell you, oh, we need this, and you ask them why. They'll tell us it's because of KRA.
No, I'm taking the example of the bank. Yes, banks are just custodians like KRA, and the information they get from you, they should treat it with the highest secrecy possible. So if someone in the bank decides to use the information, really,
but you see, my worry is the thing is that this system is supposed to be for our use, right?
Yes,
so it's supposed to be protect me. Because what you're telling me is that you can't put sort of like a feature in place to protect me. You're just saying my information is out there.
I'm not saying that.
Because the thing is, listen, there are they are human beings, and you know about the human nature. They are human beings who are working in these organizations, and they have access, and they can go and get this information.
Okay, at this point in time, well, because again, we are running out of time. But I think it's the point that you're raising, which is basically about, we would like some reassurance from KRA that the information, there's some sort of validation going on to ensure that whatever information is being put there, and the people amending it, are actually the people who are supposed to be amending it. For example, yeah, someone might file your tax accidentally for you, which is probably a good problem to have. But then again, well, the point is we're basically asking for some reassurance that whatever information is currently in there is being safeguarded, and that you've got some controls, basically.
The controls are there, but the point is raising. Sometimes it will be hard even for us to put that security feature, because the other option would be, we don't avail this system for you to update it yourself. You come and update it from our office or by us, which will now not, which we will, it's like we are going back to the manual way. Yes, but I can assure you, if such a case ever happens and you raise it to KRA with proof that you are the director of this company, but somebody registered it and they used the wrong email or their own email or something, that can be amended. We are together. Yeah. And put your email so that you continue using your PIN. So. But we are in this forum so that we can also take suggestions. Like in that case, you are suggesting a second security system. How can we do that?
I think when you try to log in, it sends you a link to your
PKI. Just maybe just one more thing. When you are coming from the other system, you are required to put some name of your mother. Believe me, that was a whole mess. So we need to balance accessibility to a system and security. If you go one way of making everything secure, you may be required to come to our office every time you need a
It's actually quite simple. Like when you try to log in, you can send your link to your email that you verify.
But even in his what the question he asked, what if someone came up with another email? Will it send you to, do we have a database of where an email is linked to your ID?
No, the thing is, I'm actually talking about the people who already were in the system, because the system already had emails there, right?
Yeah.
But then the way it is that someone who has access to information PIN and your number, which is by the way, it's extremely easy. By the way, I can name 40 organizations that have my business PIN and my certificate. So that person can they will come here and they will change the details, because it's possible. Actually, by the way, when I did it, it was so easy. It's very easy to do that. To change even the.
Then from you guys, then you can tell us which other security feature we can have in the system, which it will be known to everyone. We want to complete your PIN to item.
There was a PKI system, I don't know, and ICT authority kept saying that KRA is implementing, KRA is implementing.
PKI is the pipeline. We'll be the ones, I think, being used as a test organization for PKI. Okay, yes, maybe just the last one. Kindly could we
let's take the last one.
Then question.
Yes, I work with government just like you. So when pushing the email, which one would you prefer?
We prefer you put your personal email, because today you might be working here, then you are moved. So.
The other thing is that this is Mozilla.
Yes.
Now just that 3 lines on the top right. Just click there.
The 3.
Which one? Top right.
Just iTax on the tabs there. There's where you can go to history, security. So there are those 3 lines.
Near the settings.
Yes, just click that. Then click options.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Then security. Click security. Then save the passwords. Yeah. So you see, this is not secure. Show passwords.
So, which one?
Yeah, you can see it. You go to cyber. You can see all those passwords.
No, but always have to.
No, but
You see, this is in the browser.
but with PKI,
Yes, actually, with the PKI, you'll be able to address that. But something that has been advised, not even KRA, when you go to a cyber, even your email, yes, it's not a
Promise you to say, you want to save this
to save the password or not.
on this site, no, and then.
Yeah, so you take those.
Yes. You also need to take care note of
No, me, I
that.
know. Me, I'm an IT person, so I know how to do it.
So let's continue. So now, since you have successfully registered your PIN on iTax and you have been sent an email with your password, for the first time login, you will go through a different process because you will need to change the password that was sent to you to your preferable password. Then you can also provide a security question and a security answer. Also, but that's a one-time thing. Then from there, you can now log in. And this is the KRA, this is now the iTax portal for all of us as taxpayers. It's the same for an individual, it's the same for a company. What is different from here are only the obligations. Because the obligations are the ones that will allow you to file a different return and make a payment for that particular obligation. So let's go through this very quickly so that we are able or we become conversant with what the tax are all about. Under registration, this is why I was saying, where we are at home. But under registrations, we have a drop-down menu that has the details in your PIN. If you want to change an email, if you want to change anything, you can log in and amend. You remember, we also put the PIN of the employer. If you move employment from here to another company, you can also be able to change that. Consult of taxpayer register, this gives you the information you filled in one sheet. Then the other one is the print PIN certificates. As opposed to earlier where you had to laminate your PIN certificates, and anytime you ask for a PIN, you just photocopy that. Now all you need to do is to log in into your profile and reprint the certificate. Then we have things that we are calling e-activation, e-dormancy, e-cancellation. Let's assume you had VAT because you are doing a business. Then you decided to close that business. You can put your VAT obligation at a dormancy, or you can completely cancel that obligation. It's what it does, it creates a task to the KRA officer. So if maybe they need to contact you and first do an audit before you close the business, they will be able to contact you through the information that you provided. Then they will go through that process, and then at the end, they will approve that task. For e-dormancy, maybe you would wish maybe to come back and continue with the business. So your obligation will be under dormancy for a number of years. Then when you are ready to come back, all you need to do is to go to e-reactivation. Your obligation will be deactivated. When your obligation is under dormancy, you don't need to fill a return, and you won't get any penalties. Then the next tab is returns. And under the returns, we have the file return. That's the option for those people who are filing returns they will use. Then you can file an amended return if you realize your original return had any errors. Then you can view the return that you have already filed. You file a return and automatically you can go there and view it. Then for those people who want to file an e-return, maybe for 2012 you didn't get any income and you want to file an e-return, it's the simplest option. You use that functionality. Then we have debt and enforcement. Debt and enforcement, this is where you apply for waivers. Remember now, these are the waivers that will be in iTax, the penalties that will be in iTax. So you just apply for waivers, give your results, and they will be considered. Then under payments, this is where you register payments for any payment that you want to make to KRA and domestic taxes. You will log into your profile and register a payment. Remember, this is a registration of a payment. You are showing intent to to go and make a payment. So you will choose the obligation that you want to pay for and you register. That's what you get out of that process is something we call the e-slip. That e-slip for the other obligations, it's valid for 7 days. If you don't use it within 7 days, it automatically expires and you will need to register it again. But for VAT withholding and income tax withholding, the information you put there is a permanent record. It doesn't expire. Or even if the e-slip expires, the information still remains. Then you can consult the payments that have been made. Some of us have this habit of hiring maybe accountants, tax consultants to be making payments on their behalf. So when that person comes and tells you they have paid, you can go to consult payments and confirm if that payment actually came to KRA. Question?
So what I'm trying to do, because in the interest of time, and we want to be done about it, we want to give you the opportunity to kind of just go through this, and then I think I'd like to open the floor to a significant number of questions that I'm sure now you can.
Thank you. Then we have assessment disputes. We say KRA from time to time visit you for an audit compliance check, and if they find there is tax to be paid, they raise an assessment. If you object, if you are not in agreement with that tax that has been raised, you can raise an objection. The first option, you object to the commission. Then if the commissioner does not rule in your favor and you are still not satisfied, you can object to these other provisions that are there. Starting with the local tribunal, then if the local tribunal does not rule to your favor, you move on to the High Court in that particular order. So these will be notifications to the commission that I intend to apply for to object in the local tribunal or in the High Court, that order. Then we have refunds for those people who, for one reason or another, maybe you paid tax in error or something, the issues that bring rise to a refund, you can be able to apply for a refund of the listed down obligations, VAT, income tax, stamp duty, or in that. Then under certificates, this is where if somebody withheld a certificate, withheld income tax, that's what we call withholding tax. You can be able to retrieve that withholding certificate under that option. Then we have the second option, apply for tax compliance certificate. TCC, I'm sure most of you know about that. Moving forward, since iTax was introduced, this is the only option of applying for tax compliance certificate. It's simple procedure. You only give the reason why you want the tax compliance certificate. You get an acknowledgement receipt telling you your application has been received and it's awaiting processing. So that when your office processes, you will also get another notification and you can be able to reprint your tax compliance certificate under the other option. Go to certificates, under there, consult and reprint tax compliance certificate. Still under that, you can consult the progress of your application. Then we have the reprint VAT withholding certificate. If you supplied anything to government and they withheld the 6% VAT, you'll be able to reprint that. Then under e-communication, we have used links. These are the links that you can be able to use. This is where we have things like track status application, generate tax type specific passwords. For those of you maybe who have a company, you have an obligation for pay as you earn, maybe VAT, and you want a specific accountant to deal with pay as you earn, another one to deal with VAT. You can generate a specific password for VAT only and give it to that accountant. Another one for pay as you earn, that one. Then you can also do your pay checker. This is what I was saying, the things that are in the portal, they are also here in your profile. Then you can give us feedback, you can report a problem and that. Then we have e-communication. In this where you can send us a message, you can receive, you can view all that. So any communication that you do over here, it will also be stored. So that in case an officer gave you a directive that was wrong, you can be able to show that. Then under ledger, my ledger is a new addition. It has never been anywhere in our systems. For those of you who are employees, when your employer deducts you pay as you want and remits to KRA, employer's ledger credit. It also credits all the employees that have been deducted. That's why moving forward, pay as you earn return requires that the employer provides the details of the numbers, their names, the amount they earn in that particular order. So this goes without saying that at the end of the year, since your account has been credited from January to December, at the end of the year, or after the end of the year, you must file a return so that you create a debit side and your account will be considered closed for that particular year. In case your employer overtaxed you, so your credit side will be more than your debit side, you'll be in a refund position. If they undertaxed you, that's to mean your debit will be more than your credit side, we expect you to pay the tax that is due. Then that's it. Maybe if you go to home, we have another, these graphical representations and the ones up there. But we have an additional one for the change of password. So if you feel maybe somebody has known your password and you would wish to change, you just go to change password and put a new one. The security of these passwords, it's not only for iTax, it's for any system that you have, even Facebook, even Gmail. So that is your responsibility to take care of your passwords. Are we okay? That's it. I wish to close at that. So maybe the questions?
Okay, so I think I'm going to open the floor to take a couple of questions. So there's a lot of interest in this particular discussion, by the way, online, especially on Twitter. So if you're going to tweet about this, please use our hashtag, which is iTax today. Thank you, so we're doing something. We're doing something good. Yes. Excellent. Now, I've got a couple of questions, and I'll start with me. Now, I actually finished filing these things yesterday. When I submitted the thing, I was in a negative position, I was in a position for refund. I was excited. And then I came in this morning and I opened my email and I was told that I owe you guys 250,000. And then everyone, and the interesting thing is every single person in the office who filed a return owed something that was not there at the point of our filing. How?
That is to show the system is working the way it should. Yes. But as I said, when your employer deducts, it credits your account. So in this case, you might find maybe in some of the months of the year 2014, your employer was filing money. So those credits are not in iTax; they are in our other system. So the moment you file your return and tell us, this is the tax that I was supposed to pay for the year 2014. But the system only has maybe payments for 3 months. So all the other amounts has not been credited to the account. So the system automatically knows this person owes us money. So for your case, maybe your employer paid and in the other system. So for that, you don't have to worry. Or for all of you, you don't have to worry. But you will find there are some employers who deducted the money from their employees and they never submitted to iTax. For that case, you will get those default notices. Maybe we will come to KRA and we will be able to confirm, did your employer pay your pay as one for all the months? If we find some months are missing, then you can be able to follow up on your employer. Because essentially, they deducted money from you, but they never submitted to KRA.
So who's liable? Why is he getting a minus?
He's getting
Why is it not the employer getting paid?
You see now, when that demand is on the PIN, you see each PIN has an account. So that demand is going to the person who has the PIN. But if it's a serious case, or assuming a situation where we are all filing in iTax, yes, and we have such a default notice, we will go to the employer. Yes, we check. You deducted this money from this employee, and you did not submit for this month. So we will demand that money from your employer and charge penalties and interest on that money.
So seeing as already apparently I've been charged penalties to begin with for my compliance, and I've been given I think a month, 30 days. So for people like me, and I know what to do, what happens next? So I'm now mid-panic. because the government is looking for me. They don't want to do it because of my blogging activities. So, what is ideally supposed to happen next in such a case?
For now, you see, we are in a transition period. So we accept that some payments could have been in the old system. So moving forward, what I can advise you is to sit and don't worry. Yes? Because you see, I said we're in a transition period. Maybe they will decide, let's transfer the credits from the old system into the new system so that those penalties or that tax is no longer there. Yes? That's how.
So this is the official position.
Don't put.
Yes.
But your ledger, when your ledger is updated, you'll be able to see that. A credit maybe for the year 2014 for a number of months has been credited there.
So this year so far I'm okay. This is
But any communication that will go out, you will see.
Questions?
I have a number of questions, but let me start with one. I have a similar situation. I was trying to help one of my employees do annual returns the other day, and this employee was hired in May last year, fresh out of school, so first job. And this employee only has payee income, so it's a very simple return to do. So we filled it out, submitted it, registered, updated her payment, and registered the income tax application and so on. And then when we submitted the return, the iTax system decided, you know what? Where's the payee from January, February, March, and April? I could find all the others because those have been submitted through the iTax system and everything is good. But what about the first year? The person wasn't employed. The obligation wasn't registered to the 1st of January. It was registered to the 1st of May, where the employee was employed. That to me sounds like an error. But how do we go about remedying this? Do we go to the tribunal button? Do we go to the apply for a waiver? Do we show up at the tax station? Explain to us a number of different avenues, but which one do I choose here?
We take more questions or we answer one by one?
One by one.
Actually, considering we are running out of time, let us collect as many as we can. Okay, we'll do them in batches of 3.
One more here. You said that the paying slip is valid for 7 days. Why did you decide on 7 days? Now, like I said, we'd like to do our returns early, like on the 2nd of the month. So if we put in a VAT on the 2nd of the month and we register the payment, we get a payment slip that we may not want to pay until a little later in the month for cash flow issues, whatever issue. But we have already filed and everything is registered. To me, it would make sense that the timeline on the paying slips were 20 days, not 7 days, because then you can't register an obligation of a return until that month has ended. So the maximum span is the latest deadline you have is on the 20th. Then you can go in on the 2nd. You can register everything and log out and forget about iTax until the next month. Now you have to come in multiple times, register this. Why not up it to 20 days?
One more question.
Okay.
One question. Then we do an act. One question.
Yes. Okay. Is the withholding tax activated on this? Okay.
Thank you so much. My name is Ruto. I'll take any of the questions. Read will be the first one.
The first one was an employee got a pay, I think around May. They filed a return, but iTax asked for They say they defaulted for the past 4 months, yet they were not working for that.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, I can only tell you not panic about that one. It can be corrected. Yes, or it can be reconciled.
Yeah, but what's the avenue? There were at least 3 different correctional methods.
If it is a penalty, you can apply for the waiver. If it is a penalty, you can apply for the waiver. And it, I can promise you to be considered.
The second question, why is the payment slip valid for 7 days? Why can't we have it for 20 days? Sometimes we file VAT on the 2nd of the month, we generate a payment slip, then we have to do it.
Yes, I think the best thing would be to generate e-slip and pay. But in case you want more time, that is a request which I can also forward to be considered. It is based actually on nothing that can harm your filing. It can be extended, but also when you generate e-slip, remember it stays in our servers, it consumes the resources of the servers, and you are not really paying up. So it can expire, then you can regenerate another one. But it is also something that can be considered for extension until the deadline. Yeah.
Those resources are so minute. I mean, we are IT people, so careful about that one. It's so very, very little.
Thank you. We'll take note of that one. You can also consider for extension.
Okay, the last one, why is withholding, can you pay withholding tax in item?
Is it activated?
Oh, is it activated? So go to payment.
Yes, you can pay withholding tax in iTax. Go to payments. Let's go together. Remember, the person paying withholding tax is the withholder, all right? You as a withholdee, you get the credit, all right? Yes. Let's see. So you can actually generate a withholding tax slip in iTax. It is possible. All right, right there, choose the tax head, it's under income tax. And then subhead is withholding income tax. Okay? And then of course you choose payment type. You can also upload various withholding taxes, and then you can, the system will sum all of them. You choose the service which was consumed, and remember there will be different rates for the different services consumed. And the list is there. When you choose each of them, a rate will appear. Okay? So you can actually pay withholding tax using iTax.
Okay. Because of time, we go.
We'll consider it just 2 more. Then I'll come.
Okay, so this is a question of where you get out of campus. You are living on this, hand to mouth. So you register your company, but you're not making money.
Yes.
Then somehow you did file the real return. Yes. Then 4 years down the line, you feel like now I want to be compliant. So what happened in this case? Are you earning nothing, but you did file the return? So what's the penalty in that case? And I'm speaking here because I know most bloggers in that direction. So that they are doing this, and then they have not filed the returns, but they register company which whatever was coming in is there something to go and pay the food as you go home.
I will request, because we don't have too much time, keep your questions brief.
My question is this regards to consultants. Usually when you get paid, your client withholds tax 5% and you get a certificate. What do you do with that?
One more.
My question is on double taxation, right? Assuming I consult in Rwanda then I will possibly be forced to pay taxes there. Then I come back home and possibly will be forced to declare that I give income from there. So what's the situation there?
People start with those three first for now, and then.
The first question was, I don't have, not been doing return basically.
Yes.
So that one goes back to the applications that you're registered for. Okay. You explained for the different applications, okay, not in detail, but at least we got an idea of what it meant. So if I had the income tax obligation only, okay, I was registered for that only. Okay. So this is like maybe 2 years down the line. I've not done any returns. The penalty for not doing any return for IT1 obligation is 1,000 every year. Okay. And if there is any tax due, it's 2% compounded. Okay. So you can do the math. But again, we are saying there's an avenue where you can request for a waiver.
So it's not 1,000 is your tax every year for those number of years. But if there's money that you guys can prove that I was earning, so then it's compounded based on that.
Yes.
So how do you get to know that? Income into this?
Income tax or those are no, never. Yes. But then don't feel like it's cast on stone. You can always apply for a waiver. And the waiver might be granted in full or in part or not at all. Okay. But that is your avenue for now raising your concern.
Our bloggers.
Yes. Okay. We have said it may not be granted fully. Okay. Then the second one was yes, I have tax has been withheld from me. I am now the withholding. I have received the certificate. What do I do with that? Okay. So personally, again, if I'm registered for the IT1 obligation, I'm required to do my IT1 return by June 30th. So then I will have to declare the tax that was deducted for me in advance. Okay. So that's where now I put in the details of my withholding tax certificate. So that now if there's any more tax to it, net off the amount.
Just a follow-up. When do you fill in that detail for that form?
Unfortunately, we didn't get to go through the IT1 return. We should have. Yes. So on the basic information sheet, of course, you'll have to say yes that you had other sources of income other than employment. So when you say there will be other sheets that open up, so that now you record details. There's a P&L, you do all your balance sheet and all, and then you go to this sheet O, withholding tax credits. So now you indicate the details of the tax withheld. So of course you put in the pin of the withholder, the name, the withholding certificate number, okay, the date of certificate and the amount that was withheld. Yes. David, you can take the third question, the double taxation.
Oh, and also as you claim the withholding tax, please declare the income. That's how it goes. So if you did 200,000 under the P&L, you first put the 200,000, then you go claim the certificate. Yeah. We are not, KRA has not reached that level of being a charity. So you have to, we really need to tax you past this side before we can allow you to claim the one which was deducted. Okay, the question on double taxation. Some countries we have DTA with them, maybe that's what is a bit hard, so we prefer to use the short form, double taxation avoidance agreement DTA. So if we have such an agreement with Rwanda, then the tax paid in Rwanda can be a relief to you to the tax you paid in Kenya, because it's the same income. So let me assume the tax rate, you are charged 10% over 100,000 in Rwanda. When you come to Kenya, if we had that agreement with Rwanda, it can be a relief against your liability. But if you don't have that agreement with that country, then you'll have to pay in both countries. So yeah. Currently, the system countries are not so many. Yeah. And also it's something we've been told we need to provide the list on the website. Currently, we have India, United Kingdom, we have Denmark, Holland, we have recently Mauritius, but they depend on which type of income. So that one maybe with time, we should just put the list on the website.
Okay. You have some questions here, I believe.
Okay. Thank you. If I were to use my, I don't know whether there's a session for P9. I have my P9 here. Will you show me how to do the returns? Or if there's time, just show me the procedure. Try to find the returns. P9.
I have a question regarding the personal view. I have that issue for, I was given application for VAT way back in 2011. Now, and the station at which I was Nakuru. Now I went to the Nairobi office for them to actually sort me out, but they told me I had to go to Nakuru. Now, the question was, is the system not centralized in the sense that I can be sorted out in Nairobi, not actually go to Nakuru? Because when I put the information, it actually gave a sort of a centralized strategy. That's my thinking. So, how can you actually have it?
Any other questions? One last one.
Yeah, for Victor, I'm a registered KRA tax agent. Anytime mentioned you do tax returns from the clients, some of them are in a refundable position. How long does it take to get that refund?
Okay, let's start with the last one. How long does it take to get that to pay that refund? It depends when Treasury will give KRA money. So that is just how straight that answer is. KRA, we are only a collecting agency, and maybe this is one of the reasons taxpayers maybe don't get really how we do things. We are just a collecting agency for government. We don't have our revenue, which we generate, is so small. We rely on Treasury for everything, from our salary to everything we do. Now, if Treasury doesn't provide a provision to pay refund, then KRA will earn the time. So that one, it's better you log it at Treasury level than now at us, because as once they give us money, we pay. And recently they gave us 20 billion, we paid it in the beginning of the year for VAT refund. So that's just how we can't really say it will take 1 month. That one is lying. But even income tax, all the refunds, money should come from Treasury. Yeah. Our accounts are only deposit accounts. Once money is there, it's government money. To get money out of there, we need Treasury to give directly. Hope that is clear. But we feel you, some refunds take too long. And, I wish I was rich enough to pay some. Then you got a bill in 2011 in Nakuru. You're saying about a central. Yes, we have a centralized system. But please understand, some of the things have to be done at the station. Maybe that one should come out clear. Amendment. You change your email address, it has to go to your station. We don't want you to go to your station physically, but the task goes to your station. So I don't know what nature of assistance is required, which it was a waiver. Yeah, again, a waiver, once you apply in iTax, it goes to your station. We don't advise you to go to the station immediately. We allow you, you give the station time to work on it. But if it reaches that point that someone at the station is not doing their work, then at some point, I know it is expensive, costly for taxpayers, but you may have to go to your station to sort it out. Yeah. Okay, then that should not be a big problem, because when you're migrating your PIN to iTax, you should just change that email. It doesn't ask for the password of what was sent in the old system. iTax just allows you to use your ID number and date of birth, which you know. Then it will allow you to change the email address. Then a password will be sent to your email address. Then you'll apply for a waiver. But if you have issues about logging in, you can see us also after. You just sort out maybe it's an issue with your obligation of date of birth.
I know there's one more about the filing of the tax return. And I think what we'll have to do is, because we'll be closing, but after we close, you can still run the demo as other guys are doing that. I have short. This is the last question.
If I have a tax return of 5,000, am I allowed to accumulate penalties worth 5,000? So that's how we are given.
Okay, the rule of a penalty, by the way things are, when you're filing a return and you file it late, even if we owe you money or even if you make that penalty back. So once you pay that penalty, then we process your refund. You can't offset one from the other. Penalty, no. Maybe you can offset a refund with principal tax. But penalty, that one is, that Pandora box is open. So if anyone will ever file anything, maybe in tax. But if you have any, please don't offset, claim the refund, but apply for a waiver for the penalty. You can still get both. The waiver is waived, the penalty is waived away, and you are paying back your money. So it will reach a precisely instead of offsetting and having a zero sum.
Okay, I think we're drawing to a close. I'll invite Katwanya to make some closing remarks.
Okay, I hope you guys will stay around for, you can see a lot of questions, and not even in this room alone. I mean, there are several questions coming inside, which I hope you guys can answer them well. And the feedback, our frustration with government officials and government is sometimes in a forum like this, you talk nice, you give all the answers you think people need to hear. But when you go back, no feedback, no follow-up. So I hope you guys are different, and they will judge you harshly. You came here and they ask you questions, so if you don't do something, that would be proper. But I think they have done a good job in answering your questions. So even if you have some doubts whether they will follow up, let's give a big clap. And we thank Naila for providing the space. I don't know if Sam Kishore is around, but Lynn or Sam Kishore is around. Thank you very much, and we hope that we were able to help people. So there are people who are saying, want us and put these things online, please, the numbers. So many people were looking for this. Put them online so that people can get to know how to interact with the system. And yeah, that would be good. Meanwhile, thank you very much for coming for this event, and hope we have some, as Africans, we have something for you at the back there after this. So as others get the demonstration, you can wait in line there first, get your food, and then come back. We will be here until when your questions are well answered. Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we declare the food. The Mkulo is now open. In the meantime, because I don't think it's important here. But if you were, I think, someone was interested in seeing how it is that you can actually file a tax return. So if you would very kindly walk us through as we munch. You can munch as well, by the way. It's not the Kazi Kata Kula. You can multitask. I will hand over.
Thank you so much.
Maybe I know the attention has changed. Then if your food then comes, then we can take you to now some of you are.